So by making phone calls and following up, it works. But that's everything we do. We have to have follow-up, period, across the board. But where did they come from? Where did you initially get their name and contact information? When we talk about sources, that's what we want to be able to pinpoint. Where did you get that at? And if it came from an open house, we want to take that. But in addition to that, what caused them to come to that open house? What caused them to come in? So for example, when I do an open house, one of the very first things other than saying, hi, welcome to the open house is, how did you find out about the open house? And I need to know that so that I know where my marketing dollars are working. I've mentioned before, I used to run ads in the Valley Morning Star. It was $150 a day $150 for an ad, for an open house ad. And I used to run those, but by asking that question, I realized that ad wasn't paying dividends. Return on investment was horrible. I had more activity from signs, posting signs around the subdivision, directional signs around the subdivision. I got more people in that way than I did off of the newspaper ad, or I'd get them off of Bargain Book or Craigslist or Zillow. Very seldom was I getting anybody off the newspaper ad. So that cut that $150 out, boom, it's gone, right? And that's the reason it's really important to find out exactly where those leads are coming from. How do you classify them? Michelle, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, thanks,
yes.
Mary.
And that's one of the questions that we always ask, because we want to know if they're coming from Facebook or other ads that we make.
Yes. Awesome. Good deal. Appreciate it. And that's by identifying that source again, even if it's Facebook, at least you know where you need to spend your time and your money, And that's the whole idea today is let's talk about those numbers and where are they coming from, right? So you need to be able to track that. And that's what we'll work off of this morning a little bit. Identifying that source, if you will, to get us started. All right, I'm going to stop that share. Close that. I am going to share my screen with you. And we'll talk about some of the forms we can use to help us track what's going on. I have a few PDF forms that I want to share. We'll do that. Let me just get this set up here. So I can see. So this is the daily activity tracker. It's a Remax form. It's in Momentum. It's in the Momentum package. And this is just a sheet for you to track what happens throughout the course of your day. Now, do I want to use this sheet? Me personally, back at the beginning, I would have probably used this. I would have probably used it because it has some of the key facts in it that I need, right? How many people did I see face to face? That's the key to this business. We have to talk to people. We have to talk to people. We have to talk to strangers, which is a break in what we were taught, right? As kids, we were taught don't talk to strangers, and today we stand out on a street corner hoping to run into somebody. So what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? And this is a daily activity tracker. And by the way, any of these items that I throw up here, if you don't have these or can't find them or want them, I have all of these. Hold on a second. This. There we go. I have all of these saved, so I can actually give you the link to them or whatever if we need to. Or you shoot me an email and say, Matt, can you send me the daily activity tracker from Remax? And I can send you a copy of that. That's not a problem. But it's also in the Momentum package, which most of us have available to us. But this is one way of doing it. It's nothing more than to track it. Today, I probably wouldn't use this only because it's not fillable online. And today, a lot of what we want is quick access, right? So we want it to be fillable. So one of the other forms I'd like to share with you, and let me know if you can see that. Does it say a daily tracking form on the screen? Black bar at the top, right? Okay, so this is a Mike Ferry form, and it's fillable. So on Monday, the contacts that I had for center of influence or sphere of influence, same thing, right? How many contacts did I have? I can plug those in there, right? And any other activity I had, it's a daily tracking form, but it's designed for the week so that I can see what my numbers are for the week, if that's the way you want to work. And this is one I actually did use myself as well. And it has everything. So you have your contacts, where did you get them from, your leads, right? So if you would, when we talk about customers and clients, there's a difference there. Same thing with contacts and leads. How do they actually, I got a name. Okay, great. But did it become a lead? Yes. Or was it, did it fizzle out? Fine. That happens sometimes too, right? So you're able to track the results. Why is that important? It's important because I need to know how many people do I need to talk to? How many people do I need to talk to actually turn it into a possible prospect or a lead, right? And if I need to talk to 10 people and out of 10 people, I only get one prospect. If I talk to 10 people, I only get one prospect or one lead, solid lead, right? Then I can run those numbers backwards once I work out the rest of the chain. How many of those leads do I need to actually go to a contract, to skip through that really quick? How many of those leads do I need to go to an actual contract that closes? Then I decide how many contacts I need on a daily basis. Does that make sense? But if we don't track it, there's no way in the world for us to know. No way for us to know. And when somebody says, I need some help, or this isn't working, or that isn't working, and you start taking a look at the numbers, and all sales is like this. All sales like this. You have to track the numbers to know where you're going, to make changes when you want to make them. Just like that return on investment. If I had not been asking that question at the open house and tracking it, I would have never known that wasn't working. And I would have probably continued to do it like other agents did back then, and paying that for no reason, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to do what's working for us. So again, this is the daily tracking form, and it's from Mike Ferry Systems. You can even download this from his website, actually. Any questions on that one? All right, so here's another one that I've picked up over the years, and this is a Viral Workman. It's a Workman Success Systems is where it comes from. That's where I got it from. And this allows you to track your activities, right? So you have a schedule, you have your notes, you have your to-do list. This kind of puts everything together in one, if you will. And down at the bottom, you can clear the form, you can email it, you can save it. If you actually made phone calls. So on that poll, when I said phone calls, we're talking about, did you make phone calls to prospect, like geo leads? Did you call strangers to see how you can help them with real estate? Did you call a subdivision? Did you call a list of for sale by owners or expireds or whatever you're working? Did you do, that's dials, that's phone calls, right? And that's what I was getting at in that poll as well, not follow-up calls. All of us make follow-up calls. So the terminology we use with it sometimes is really important. So this is just another way of you tracking your daily activities. And on this one, I have not used this one, but I've shared it with people, and I have, there's been a couple agents that I know that use this. So if you go in here and you plug in your numbers, it gives you your total points, right? You decide what your numbers are. What do you want it to be? And how many do you need, et cetera, to get where you need to be. And you can go in and plug those numbers in and make this work for you. I can certainly see how this would work for this kind of an individual. And again, for me, this might have worked at the beginning because I was really big on the schedule and the to-do list, because you're going to have things to do that are not necessarily appointments, right? When we talk about time blocking, but if it's a things to do, something you need to work on, marketing, for example, develop a newsletter, develop a mail out to a subdivision. Those are things that need to be done, but they may not go on my appointment side. Does that make sense? All right. So again, this is just another way of doing that. And again, you can use this and you can change this. It's an Excel layout. So you can actually change these if you needed to whatever you wanted it to be. If you need help with that, we can work on that. Any questions about any one of those three PDF forms? Everybody good? All right.
Which one is the easiest one to use?
Whichever
The
one,
simple.
whichever one you like, whichever one you like. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic or smart aleck with that. It's just everybody does everything a little different, and you need to find something that works for you. And that's the reason I throw out the different systems, the different approaches, because you need to do what works for you. I will also share with you right quick the one I use. Let me move this around here just a second. Let's stop this share. So here's another one. Let me do this real quick. I'll show you another example on why we might want to know what our numbers are so that we know how to make those adjustments. This is one that this came from Workman Success Systems also, and it shows their business goals and activity spreadsheet. So if you have your goals, actually, now this is just a picture of it, but if you had your goals all set up, so you have your main goals, can everybody see that one? Where it has the main goals there on the left-hand side? So if I have the main goals there, then here's my conversions, here's my conversion percentages. That's what I'm getting at again, is I need to know how many or how much of this activity, how many people do I need to come in contact with here to be able to get the end result here. And if I'm not tracking on a daily basis, there's no way for me to figure that out. And that's what this will allow you to do. It also allows you to establish a goal. If I know that I need to talk to 3 people to get 1 lead, right? Then my daily goal is to talk to 3 people. I'm not worried about that 1 lead or leads being, let's say I need 3 talks to get to 1 lead, but I need 4 leads to get to 1 contract, for example. I'm not worried about that contract aspect of it. I'm worried about the activity level down here on the bottom, the 3 contacts or the 3 conversations I need to have to be able to get where I need to be on a daily basis. Does that make sense? So we're looking at the daily side of it. What are we doing, and are we going to get where we want to be? And we won't know that if we're not tracking. And that's what this whole layout here is on Workman's success system. It has everything laid out for you. That's just another system, if you will, to get where we want to be. Now I'm going to go to an Excel spreadsheet. We're going to go to an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you a few of these. Open up. Give me just a second. I'm going to just do it this way. Let's do it this way. Let's try this. This should work. So when we're talking about tracking, here's another. This is an Excel spreadsheet for email marketing. Are any of you doing email marketing? Anybody? Email marketing? No?
Send a newsletter.
You're sending out an email newsletter?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So that would,
I do the same, Mac. I send one out the first week of every month.
okay, first week of every month, right?
Right. So like the first, second, or third is usually when I send it. And I get it through our Remax Mac Center,
Right, okay,
where I get it from.
that's a good deal, good. And Gustavo, you said you're sending out a newsletter as well,
Yes, monthly. Every
monthly newsletter? All right, so when we talk about newsletters, because that's, when you guys say that, in my mind, where it's at today is when we're talking about the tracking of those, the monthly newsletters is something that should be a standard. Everybody should be doing those, whether you do them via email or you do them hard copy mail. As you know, we do the hard copy mail system, but again, tracking that, is everybody getting it? Are we getting any responses out of it? That kind of thing, right? And that works. I've seen that work over the years, not just for us, but for other agents that picked it up and used it. So on this one here, when we're looking at email marketing, this allows you to plan out what you're going to do on a monthly basis. It's a monthly email marketing system. That's what it is. It's just a sheet to help you do that. And there's actually instructions. I borrowed this from HubSpot. If any of you are familiar with HubSpot, that's where I got it from. But it's an email marketing system. So here's your topic. So here, week one, here's your topic, the owner of it, the status, the subject line. And when we talk about the status, it actually has a little drop down here, right? In progress, scheduled, sent, etc. So you can keep track of it. Again, we need to track what we're doing so we know whether it's working or not. And then you have your email draft link, and it goes all the way across, down to leads generated. Now, this deliverability and open rate and click-through rate, if you're sending out emails, what kind of results are you getting out of it? You know, let's say, for example, when I first started working with Remax Elite, I was using MailChimp to send out emails. And there were a few times at the very beginning that I made a comment about, you know, I'm sending out emails to everybody, and I don't remember what the percentage was, but there was like a 10% open rate. Well, and the reason, in my mind, the reason for that is there's other notices about training going out. So when they see the newsletter, when they see the email about training, they know that it's going to be there. They know that training is going to happen. So I don't necessarily need to read it. Your clients are going to be the same way. Your customers are going to be the same way. Your sphere of influence, the ones receiving those items from you are going to be the same way. So one of the other things to do is change the email subject line to cover the main purpose of that email, right? So they may not be opening it, but you're at least getting information out there. However, we don't know how effective it is unless we monitor that and see what that rate is. And that's what this is all designed to do. If you're using a monthly or weekly email, which is what this is designed to be, you have week 1, 2, and 3, 4, right? A weekly email. And you're going to hear that again here in just a little bit. Any questions on this one? So if you wanted this, just the email marketing plan, if you send me an email and said you wanted the email marketing plan, I can send that to you. Some of these items I have in our Facebook groups. Some of them I don't have. This one is not in there. All right. Any questions? Any questions on that one?
Mac, this is Sandra in Laredo. Hi, I have a question. If you have a large data bank, have you heard of any specific format that would be able to track? And now I'm going to start using this HubSpot so you can see the clicks and who's actually clicking on and off, right? So what I'm trying to do is create like recreate my data bank like to A, B, and C. A being, the ones that are hot, B meaning, past clients, and then C, someone that I haven't seen in a bit. So how could I do that? Because it's overwhelming. I have about 1,000 contacts.
Um, what are you using as a contact manager now?
Right now, I'm barely starting to use Lions Desk. I was using the drip campaign through Remax.
Right.
But now I'm delving a little more into seeing what kind of results I'm going to get. So before it was just, like a secondary marketing thing for me. Now it's going to be more of a primary for my sales.
Right.
This point may help you.
This one on mute real quick. All right. The almost every one of the systems has things that can be added to it. When you're talking about the A, B, and C, and that for those of you that haven't used that or don't use something like that, being able to classify your clients or your customers, your sphere of influence that way is a really good way of keeping up with what's going on. You want those that are your, you've heard me say it before, your top 50, for example, and we actually use that term. That's our focus. The top 50 would maybe be in our A, or we might have a little more than 50, but that's our focus, right? So in the years past, one of the systems we used was Outlook, and I actually had Outlook tabbed for A, B, and C, and everybody went into one of those categories. And Outlook's not a real estate program, but it's what we were using. We set up distribution list in Outlook, and we had everybody tabbed in different areas. So we had everything all set up the way we needed to make it work at that time. I don't know of a specific system unless you get into like Lion Desk or Top Producer. Realty Juggler is another one that's a CRM specific for real estate. If you're using Google, Google has Folio, which is an add-on to Google, right? That's real
Yeah,
estate.
I love that one. I'm using Folio right now, actually, for
Okay.
my active clients. And so my assistant will go in there and put in an update, and every update, at each juncture of the transaction goes to the client. And they love that because they respond back and they say, thank you for the update. They've done the appraisal. Next is this.
Awesome. It's good. So there should be a way in there as well. And I used that for a period of time and then quit using it. It was just to check it out, make sure, see how it works and et cetera. But there should be a way to go in there and actually break everybody down. And that's the same thing, just like when somebody asks, which one's the best system? When Claudia asked that, which one's the best system? It depends on you. And I've played with a lot of these where I've moved things around. At one point we had buyers A, B, and C and sellers A, B, and C. And it just you can make this too complicated. And we want to try to keep it as simple as possible, because when it gets complicated, then we stop using it. But I don't know, to answer your question, I don't know of a specific way to do that, but we could possibly talk about it later on and see if we can't get something else on it. On the screen right now, what you should have is, you guys see it? Nothing. That's what you see. Absolutely nothing. Yes. Let's throw this one up there. Let me hit a few more of these sheets real quick. This one is, I pulled this from a Zero to Diamond conversation that was on Facebook. One of the agents said this is what they use to track their phone calls. And again, when we're talking about phone calls, we're talking about, that's our source of prospecting. For example, this is Lead Source Geo. So they're doing RedX using geo calls. So that's geographic. They're calling a subdivision. You're calling around just listed, just solds, that kind of thing, right? They're making phone calls. The dialer, where it says triple, that's the brand of a dialer. So unless you're going to go all in with that, I'm not all in with phone calls. I'm not too sure I would go that direction. Is it a system that works? Absolutely. It's a real good system. The dialer is one where you plug in the numbers, or you set up your system so that it automatically pulls the numbers in. And you've seen them, the auto calls, the robocalls type deals, where they'll call somebody, and as soon as somebody answers, then you get on the line. But it allows you to make calls, I've been told, 3 times faster than what you'd normally do. You can get three times the leads. You can go through 3 times the leads that you would normally go through, because it's doing the dialing for you. That's what a dialer is. But anyway, this was one of theirs. So when, again, the same type of thing, when you're tracking your day-to-day activities, you know what you need to get done and how it needs to be done, right? And that's one of the key parts to this. Any system, whatever you decide to use, you're tracking, and this is dials, contacts, connections, emails, and on that system, getting somebody's email is a big factor. When Gustavo and them were talking about their weekly newsletter, their monthly newsletter, Gustavo and Michelle, when they mentioned that, this system is designed, this is from zero to diamond. It's designed a little different than that, where they're sending out weekly emails, which we're going to talk about in a second. But let me just show you how some of this works on some of these other charts as well. Any questions on this one? I just also wanted to touch base on the bottom right here where it says thank you cards. Remember that we should be sending out 5 thank you cards per day. And again, if you're not tracking it, are you doing it? And are you getting any results out of it? I've thrown out the example before when we first came back to the Valley and I had a closing. I sent a thank you card to the rep at the title company and got a phone call from her saying that how much she appreciated it because she never gets anything like that, or doesn't usually. So know that that's there to help you. All right. Any questions on that one? So here's another one. Can you see this one where it says daily activity record? Can you guys see that one? Yes. And it's got a bunch of yellow stuff on it, and it's from 2013. You guys see that? Okay. A few heads nodding yes. All right. So this one can be cleaned up. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It has a bunch of stuff in here where we can go in and change it, but it's the same type of thing that we've been talking about. It has every day for a month, right? So if you've used Excel and you're familiar with it, you know that I can just take this, I can click on this and just copy this over and put it in an Excel spreadsheet, and I can set up the whole month right here, just using Excel as my tracker for what's going on. Now, the only problem with this part of it is I'm still going to have to put those individuals into a system. MailChimp, Constant Contact, Google email, Yahoo email, whatever you're using, I'm still going to have to put the individuals in there once I get them. But this is just a breakdown. It allows you to record what you're doing on a daily basis, which is what we need to do, right? What is our activity? And it has everything. And because it's Excel, you can go ahead and change any of this, right? You can change any of that, whatever you want it to be. And the blue are items that they put in there when they were using it. Follow-up calls. If it's in yellow, right? We have the did we get the follow-up calls done, etc. Right? Chat conversations. This is your tracking down on the bottom, so it works really well for that day, just that day. And then we go over to the next ones, right? So we have everything there that we need to do. All right. Any questions on this one? Excuse me. Now this one is based on points per day. And this is one I actually used. It's I pulled it from or took some of it from a little bit of everything. And Tom Hopkins, if you go to tomhopkins.com, go to resources, down at the bottom of the page on the right-hand side, he'll have real estate information in there. It's also in the flash drives that we've given out. He has an activity tracker, if you will, that's based on points. And that's what this is based on, but I changed it up and added some things to it. I used this at one point. Your goal is to get 21 to 31 points per day. Again, it's nothing more than a way for you to, it's nothing more than a way for you to track what you're doing on a daily basis. That's all it's for, right? And so if I do an open house, for example, I'm just seeing that open house, one point for each contact where you get their name and their number. Do people come to an open house and not want to sign in or not want to give you any information? Sure they do, right? They're there. They count as far as the seller is concerned. We had this many people show up. But as far as my system goes, as far as contact information, if I don't have their name and their number, they showed up at an open house, but it really doesn't do anything for us as far as follow-up goes. But that's what this is based off on. And some of this is crunched up because I enlarged it so you could see it. But this is one that this is one that I put together. And the whole idea, in fact, you can tell how old it is right there. There used to be a system called Foursquare. Anybody remember Foursquare? No? Well, Foursquare was like Yelp and other things like you could check in at businesses and et cetera. So that one we could take out and put something else in. But this is again, just a point system. 21 to 31 points per day is what you're shooting for. And if you're doing that, then you're doing extremely well. And if you're not, you will be. Just a matter of time. That's the monthly tracking system. Some of you already have this next one. This is the main goals workbook. Can you guys see where it says type on there? Right? So this is in the main goals workbook. This is in both Facebook groups. I've shared this with agents over the years. This is where we have our goals and our financial budget and all that good stuff. You guys have seen that, right? But under the tab for closing tracker, this is what we use. I use this today. Well, not today, but if I had a closing today, I would use this today because this is what our system is based on. So over here under type, I always put in what it is. Where did we get that name from? If I got it from home duty, from phone. If I got it from phone duty, what caused them to call? Where did they get our phone number at? You know, those are some of the questions we need to be asking. They showed up at the open house. What caused them to come to the open house? If they called the office number, what caused them to call that number? If they call my phone number, where did they get my phone number at? Right? The bathroom wall somewhere. Whatever. How did they get to you? That's what you need to know. So on here, this is exactly the way I fill it out. I want to know where that came from. So at the end of the year, I know where the majority of my contracts came from and where I need to make adjustments. That's the whole idea behind this. A lot of the national trainers will tell you that if you ask an agent where the majority of their business is coming from, just like today's poll, they'll say their sphere of influence. And when you ask them how it came from them, what did they do to generate it? That's where we start running into, I'm not sure. I just talked to a lot of my friends and family and past clients and, well, what do? Do you have a system for it? Do you do pop buys? Do you send your sphere just listed and just sold cards? Or do you send them open house cards or thinking of you cards? Or what are you doing to generate that? And sometimes what you end up with is a whole list of things, but it's a shotgun effect, right? There's no solid plan together for it. When you go through and you look at this and you see what's working, then that's what you want to continue to do. If it's not working, get rid of it, right? When I have on here PD, that's phone duty, homes RGV. So when that phone call came in, just out of curiosity, how did you get our phone number? Or where did you find us at? I found you on the website. And I shared that when I first came to RE/MAX. There was a gentleman who called off of the RE/MAX website, called me, right? Off the RE/MAX website. I asked him, where did you get my phone number at? Or how did you find us? He said, well, I was doing a search for homes in Mission and you guys' website come up. Great. So that's how he found us. Out of all the agents available on that website, how did you decide to call me? Or why did you decide to call me? And you guys, almost everybody's heard that, right? I've shared that in the past. If I don't ask those questions, I don't know where I need to make adjustments at. Does that make sense? We need to know that. And that's what this is for, is it allows you to go in here and put that information in. I fill this out whenever we have a closing. I'll fill this out. And besides the type, the thank you gift over here is probably the next most important part of this. But the type is really important. And I learned that years ago because I thought years ago when I was with a different company, I thought the majority of our business was coming from outside sources, advertising and things like that. And what I found, the majority of it was coming from phone duty. But back then I was standing phone duty all the time. All the time. Anytime somebody didn't want to stand phone duty, I would take it. I'd beg for phone duty on the weekends, right? Whatever it took. So I know that I'm not really generating that, which is a problem. I need to create my business. And you guys, a lot of you have heard me say that before. Create your business. Because we can get busy with busy work, but it's not being productive. Everybody following? Well, good. All right, so now what you should have is the Momentum Agent Business Planner on the screen. And again, most of you have this. This is also in our Facebook group. Some of you are extremely familiar with this because you see it 2 or 3 times a year, at least from me. And you've probably seen it on your own or from other people as well. This is the Momentum Agent Business Planning Calculator. You put in your desired profit at the top, whatever that is, right? Your desired profit. You plug in your business expenses, whatever that is, right? And then your average commission rate, whatever that is. And that's the average commission rate you would have on your closings, right? And your average sales price, whatever that is. And this will tell you how many transactions you need to hit that $100,000, for example. Based on the key here is the sales price. That's going to be your key, the sales price. So if that 46, for example, is too much, there's no way in the world I think I can get 46 transactions. You're wrong, you can. But 46 transactions, if that seems like a little too much, then I need to change my average sales price. If I go to 200,000, I now only need 23 transactions. So change the sales price, change your marketing, change what you're looking for to change the number of transactions you want to work on. Does that make sense? And the reason I show this here is because those of you that's played with this, this will actually gives you the chance to break this down. Let's say if listing sold primarily a listing agent, so we'll do that. Where am I going to get them at? I'm going to get 8 from expireds and oops. 8 from expireds and 5 for sale by owners, for example, right? So there's 13, and I want 2 from my network. Now I love this calculator. I did not have anything like this before I came to RE/MAX. I love this thing, love it, because it tells me exactly what I need. Now I will tell you though that for me, some of the things I have a problem with are the items down here at the very bottom. Internet websites and RE/MAX leads, I have no control over. I have absolutely no control over. I can control expireds. I can control for sale by owners by changing my activity level. I cannot change RE/MAX leads just based on an activity level. You can, but that's more social networking type stuff. Going to the conventions, doing things like that, networking with that. A while back, I had shared a note from one of the national trainers that said, you need to know agents that are within 200 miles of where you're at. So that's your network. That's where you need to go out. Hit agents, find agents that are within 200 miles of where you're at and start networking with them. There's an agent there's a mailer in the Harlingen office that I received from a RE/MAX agent that said, just using this means to introduce myself. If you have any referrals coming to where it's from, if you have any referrals that need to go to Jacksonville, Florida, please keep me in mind. You know, that kind of thing. You could do the same thing. You could do a postcard and just send it out to all the agents in that area, that 200-mile radius. But the other thing, if we are using our systems, Remax has referral systems built into Remax.net. You go to Remax.net and you go in there, and there's a global referral network in there as well. So you can go in there and put your information in there, and you can go in there and chat once in a while with other agents as far as what's going on in business and et cetera. Great way to start doing that. So if I was going to do a mail out, I'd probably do it to outside Remax agents, right? Even mom and pop type agents are probably the independent companies would probably be, if I was going to send a postcard out, that's probably where I'd send it at. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because I love this tool. Love it. Because so those of you that's worked with this, and hopefully you guys have done this for next year, take those 8 expired, for example. I click on listings. I come over here. Now this is open. Those of you that's done this, you know that the whatever blue that is, that's open because I have a number in here, right? These that are blacked out, if you will, are that way because I don't have a number in here. So for example, let's take sign calls. I'm going to plug a number in there just for the heck of it. Sign calls. So now that opens up here, right? So it allows me to calculate what I'm going to do or what I need to do to meet my goals. And if you use this system, all the numbers are already figured out for you. So you go down to the bottom, and if you're a beginner, if you will, or if you're trying to restart your business, use the number on the left-hand side. So if I was doing expireds, I use 50, 50, 50. So I go back up here, and this top one would be 50. This one would be 50. This one would be 50, etc. Right? And we're not going to turn this into a goal setting class because you guys have already done that. But for those of you that haven't seen this, this tool is awesome because when it comes down to it, number of days per week, right? Here's your listing standards. So if I run this out, it'll tell me how many expireds I need to contact for that day. How many expireds or how many for sale by owners I need to contact for that day. How many people I need to network with for that day, right? So it gives you your goals. But you can't get there if you're not tracking what you did to begin with. Does that make sense? You need to know what you're trying to get done to be able to get there. Any questions on that one? All right. So just a couple other items for you here. Let's stop the share on this one. And again, that momentum one is in our Facebook groups. So you have access to that. It is a part of the momentum training. So I'm going to share the screen with you again. And again, as we're doing this, one of the things that I've tried to make it a point of is to know the different systems, places, things like that I can use to get done what needs to be done. On the screen, you guys should be seeing daily task, talk to, right? You guys see that? On the screen, are you guys seeing that? Daily task? Yes? Thank you, Dee. Appreciate it. Awesome. All right. I think some of you are sitting there with the volume down, just sitting there staring at the screen so you can get credit for it. Gina, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
All right. So daily task, and I've shared this one before. This is one that I use. This came out of Carla Cross's book, Up and Running, Making Money Your First Month in Real Estate. I bought that in 97. That system is still there. It still works today. On this one, talk to 10 people face-to-face about real estate, right? You have to talk to people. That's part of the business. Hand out 15 business cards, phone 5 people, preview 5 other brokers' listings. That can still be done today with a little bit of prior planning. 5 other brokers' listings. Why in the world would we want to do that? Anybody? No?
Find some buyers.
Say again?
Find some buyers.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you might have a buyer that you can match it up with.
Sure. Absolutely. Thanks. you want to preview 5 other brokers listings, and you want to make sure that they're owner occupied or tenant occupied, right? Number one thing is you want to leave a business card upside down saying, thank you for allowing me to preview the property. That's number one. Number two, you're absolutely right. You learn what's on the market, and you might just have a buyer for it. So previewing 5 other brokers listings needs to be, in my opinion, one of your activities. I worked at it when I was in Austin. I worked when I first came back to the Valley. It will cause you to get extremely busy because you're out and about all the time. And leaving your business card upside down with a thank you for allowing me to preview it will generate listings for you when that property doesn't sell with the agent that they currently have, right? And most MLSs, especially here in the Valley, require us to leave a business card so the seller knows we've been in the house, right? I just leave it upside down so they know that. And we've talked about that one. But this will generate business for you. Questions? All right. If not, here's another one. Some of you have heard me mention Ricky Caruth, and some of you are working with that. If you are working with Ricky Caruth or following what he does, just a thumbs up or something of that nature would be great. Any of you are doing that? Note in the chat, anything? Anyone? Nope. Oh, D. Okay. And I know that Nez too. This is his new 90-day action plan. It's his new 90-day action plan. And he walks through, if you follow this, and I'm going to try to throw this link in the chat here in just a second. But if you follow some of the stuff that he has in here, it's a real simple process. It's a 90-day action plan. He talks about the 4-point system, what needs to be done on a weekly basis for the first 2 weeks. This is from, if I wanted to start today, I'm going forward from today, right? He has a 98-day challenge. He tells you exactly what to do with that to make that work. The 7 to 12 week, this is his new one, and it's a really good program. The reason why I show it to you is I want to give you the link to it as well, so you can check it out. But it has everything pretty well laid out without a bunch of fluff. It's not like if I go to Viral Workman to get that worksheet, for example, I'm going to have to go through all kinds of programs to get there. And we don't have time for that because you guys are extremely busy. Besides that, we got the new year coming. We got a plan for the party and all that good stuff, right? Yeah. This just ties right into the 0 to diamond stuff that he has for you. Tells you exactly what needs to be done. He has links for his programs in there as well. I was showing you daily activity charts. Here's another one that they promote. You guys see that? It's 4-point system. I can't see the 4. It's there. It's a 4-point system. Everybody see that one? So this is the one that Ricky Caruth uses and promotes. It's one of the guys that he worked with developed this, actually. One of the guys on 0 to Diamond Facebook page created this and uses it on a regular basis. So you need 4 points a day. 4 points a day. So accept a deal is 4 points. Listing appointment is 2. Other appointments are 1 apiece. Talking to a stranger is a half a point. So again, it doesn't matter which system you use as long as you have something you're using. I like this system. It's a whole lot simpler than some of the others that we've talked about. 4 points a day will get you where you need to be. And the other part of it is if you start using it and you develop this, I like it, I can see it working, it takes a whole lot of stress off of you on the other side. One of the other items that he has available is how I make $1 million a year in real estate using email. And earlier when I asked about email, it didn't seem like there was a lot of activity. So I want to share a couple little things with you, if we could. And let me do this here real quick. Stop the share. Just a minute. right, so I just put that 4-point system in the chat. And then that email book that he has, that Ricky Kruth has, throw that in here as well. So you have those. I just want to, for those of you that are not familiar with this, let me hit a couple of these real quick. This is on zerotodiamond.com, and you can go in and create an account in here. Gabino indicated that he's following some of this as well. You can go in and create an account. You don't have to pay for anything. He does free coaching with it, but he has requirements to get on that program, right? There's things you need to do. All of that is lined out in the handout as well that I'll share in just a second. But on here, for example, if you go in here, once you create an account, you go into the member side of it. He has all this activity in here. And one of the things right here that he swears by is that he sends out an email every week. He sends out an email every week. And if you click here, it'll show what he uses. Constant Contact is what he uses. Every Wednesday, he sends out an email. Every Wednesday. And for those of you, is anybody using Constant Contact? No? All right. So Constant Contact and MailChimp will, the last time I looked, will allow 2,000 emails at a time without you paying for anything. So I don't think that part of it should be a problem. But anyway, everything he has, the 4-point system that the one I just shared with you, all of that's in here. All of it's in here. In addition to that, if you go to Zero to Diamond, if you go to Zero to Diamond /new agent, I'll throw that in here as well. It opens up and he has some videos in here that covers prospecting. This system's running a little slow, but he has some videos in here about prospecting and why we need to prospect and the way we prospect. They're worth listening to just to see a different approach, right? And those of you that's listened to him at all, you know that his approach is I'm here to help. I'm just seeing if I can help you with real estate. What can I do to help you? That's the approach. And for those of you that are not familiar with Ricky Kruth, he does over 100 transactions a year. Single agent. He does have an assistant that helps with some of the marketing stuff, but that's more toward the coaching side of this. But since 2014, he's sold over 100 transactions a year, which is a lot of hustle. And this is just one of the ways. Zero to Diamond /new agent is the link to that site. Also, when you get in here, if you start looking at it, he has all the scripts. This is the geo prospecting for sell by owner, everything. Voicemail script. If you're making phone calls and you get a voicemail, can you guys see that where it says ZTD voicemail? Everybody see that? Okay. Yes. And it's real simple. You know, this is Mac with Remax Elite. I'm just giving you a call or give me a call when you get a chance at this number. Leave a message of some sort. Don't just hang up because you got voicemail. Let them know why you are calling. Pull this thing over here real quick. Any questions about any of those? So I want to show you two other little things that go with this. And the reason why, again, knowing your numbers and how it works and et cetera is so important. This is, and you could, I just use this one because I've been messing around with it, but this is Ricky's personal website, right? Actually, it's not, it's his business page. The reason I show it to you is he's using Constant Contact to send out weekly emails. Everything that we've talked about in prospecting and all this other, the scripts, all that stuff, he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't call expireds and for sale by owners and all that like he used to, because he has the system set up. And for those of us that don't have a system set up, or that enough's not enough, then calling and prospecting on a daily basis is necessary. Absolutely necessary. What I wanted to show you on this system, what makes things work for him, when we're doing the geo calls, Excel spreadsheet I showed you earlier, it showed email on there. And I made a comment about their system teaches you to get the email. If I can get somebody's email address, I add it into my system, they're going to get a weekly email. I don't have to do anything else. They're going to get a weekly email from me, right? So if I go to his business page, and this, I want you to get this part. You see right here where it says Gulf Coast Marketing Report? That's his weekly email. It's not, hey, love Mac type thing. It's not, I'm the best agent in the world. It's the Gulf Coast Market Report. And if you read through some of his history, this started because back when he was rocking and rolling with real estate before, one of the things he had an investor that asked him for a list of foreclosure properties. He says, okay, I'll send it to you on a weekly basis. He set that up. And then he started getting more requests. Send me a list of foreclosures in the area. And he set several of those up. And then he was like, well, why don't I do this for everybody? So then he set up a weekly foreclosure list for everybody. Anybody that was in his system. Those that want to unsubscribe can unsubscribe, right? But that's what led him to this, which is his marketing report. And if you click on it, it takes you right to, can you guys see that where it says Ricky Carruth, the Diamond Group? Everybody see that? All right. So this is his email newsletter. This is it. So he emails it out, but he also, because Constant Contact is set up that way, and so is MailChimp for free, you can also connect it to your Facebook page, right? So as soon as I send that email out, it's going to go here. And this is his email. That's it. That's his weekly email. Not real complicated. But if I click on the county stats, this is condos only because that's his specialty, right? It could be whatever you want. He's pulling these numbers from the county. If you click on it, it'll open up that page and go to that source, right? For the county. Something they have put together. From the real estate center. Come on, back to the newsletter. The other parts of this newsletter, for example, just little bullets in here. And this is just knowing your numbers. Know your numbers. Not just prospecting side, but what's happening with the market. Where can I get that information really quick? Anybody? If I wanted to know how many months supply there was, where can I get that real quick?
Well, Shirley sends it to us. That's one way, or we can just go directly to the source.
Which is?
And it's not a trick. It's you're gonna get me lying. I'm so bad.
PR.
MLS.
Exactly.
All right. So Claudia, was that you that said RPR?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yes, RPR is what I was trying to get at. So you can go to RPR and pull this up pretty quick. Like anytime you run a CMA in RPR, these numbers are there. Anytime you run a CMA in RPR, and that's where we should probably be running them. This information is one of the last few pages. if you look at it, it has it for the entire area, and then it'll have it based on your search area and the criteria you established. Awesome tool. If I was doing a subdivision, so he's doing November condo stats, for example, he's doing condo stats for his area, right? If I was working Cimarron Country Club, I might have one of these for that, right? Could I not set up different weekly emails, but have them set so that they all go out the same day or same time frame, right? So there's so many different things you could do with this. It's unbelievable. And this will take you to the reports that we were just at, for example. And then here's the closings. This is his closings. Now, when I went through this, it looks like he's pulling those numbers from MLS, but it's a link to a site that shows the closings. So whether he's getting it from MLS or somewhere else, I'm not sure. But it's like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's live. And then here's everything for sale. And you could do these searches yourself on Homes RGV or on your website and link to that. Link to that. And you do that by copying the URL out of the top portion up here once you set the site up. But do it from your website or homesrgv.com. Everybody follow that? So this is pretty easy to put together, and it's a basic template that you can make work for you. Any questions on that? All right. Stop share. We do one other thing for you real quick. Again, I'm not promoting anything, but just understanding what happens and the way it happens in this business is pretty important. So I just put a webinar in the chat. It's a replay webinar. So when you go in, you have to actually put your name and email address in there. It's a replay link to the most recent Ricky Carruth webinar. And I share that with you because there he walks through all of this system. I've listened to that thing maybe 3 different times. Yeah, about 3, maybe 4 times. And the reason for me sharing it with you is within there, he talks about the prospecting side of it and the numbers. And, there's always going to be closings. There's always going to be people wanting to buy and sell real estate. We just need to make sure that we are the ones they call. You do that by being the hardest working agent out there, which if you go to his website, you'll see that's actually what he has on his website. He's the hardest working agent in that area, that kind of thing. Not I'm number one, I'm $1 million producer, those kind of things, which is what we see on some others. All right. So when we started, I asked how many closings you had. That was in that poll and the source of those closings. The whole focus for today is do you know where your clients are coming from? And if so, we should be able to take that and duplicate it. We should be able to take that and duplicate it, right? And then it becomes predictable. So I know that if I'm trying to reach this goal and I've tracked my numbers, I know what I need to do to get there. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay. And that's the whole idea today, was to try to go through some of the sheets, some of the systems, some of the things you can use that you can use to help you track what you're doing to become more successful, if that's something you want to do. Anybody have any questions about anything we covered? Nope. Comments? Nothing. Everybody's just nice and quiet.
We'll have all that stuff that we went over in the Facebook group, right? Because there was one that I really liked. The one that had the breakdown, not the momentum one, but the one you did before that. I didn't write it down.
Is the main goal is closing?
Yes, I think it was.
That's in the Facebook group.
Okay, what is it called again?
It's in its main goals is what it's listed in. It's in the files in the Facebook group.
Okay, thank you.
And the tab is closing tracker. Or closing tracker. Anybody have anything else?
I just want to thank you for everything you do for us, Mac. All the information and pushing us to do better.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
We've had a great year, guys. As I'm looking at the stats as our meeting is, we're obviously between all offices, we're going to close out the year with over 2,000 transactions. So
Wow.
really proud of you guys. And Mac, we are, I just want to thank you also for every week bringing us this amazing training. I mean, I think it's a testament to how, the numbers that we have. I'm really happy that you guys participate. We had at one point over 40 people on the call today. I know it's the last week of the year, and I'm happy that you guys are still, I was actually thinking, well, it's the last week of the year. A lot of agents are probably going to be, taking it easy, but I'm happy to see that. We're going to close out the year really, really well. And Mac, thank you for bringing us this amazing training every week so consistently. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to a really good 2021.
Yes, ma'am. Should
Thank
be
you.
fun. Should be fun.
Yes, and I also want to say thank you for bringing up all those bringing all that information up so that way we don't have to go looking for it. It's accessible. We can just use whatever we can use or whatever works for us. So different options.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice, everybody. Thank you, Mac.
No problem. Thank you. All right, Dorothy, I will add you to that group so you don't have to worry about it. I'll take care of that. Anybody have anything else? All right.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. Everyone be safe.
Oh, there's Gina.
What do you think about my bangs?
I like it.
I love them.
Thanks.
It took me a couple of years to.
Your
I
background,
like it.
your background is too dark. You cannot see your hair with the background.
Okay, Gustavo, let me take it off so that way you can.
Thank you.
Or put a
Thank
light, put a light on you. It'll work.
Yeah.
You see this-
Or
I'm gonna go do the Facebook selfies.
change it to blonde.
Yeah. There you go.
Change your hair to blonde and keep the background like that.
All right.
Thank
Appreciate you guys.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you,
If
everyone.
you guys have
Thanks,
any
Mac.
transactions closing, so we can get them in before the end of the year, send me your packets and zip forms, and we can get them, the CDA sent out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Jessica. Hey, for
You're
those of you,
welcome, Mac.
those of you that are still here, I want to show you just one little thing. One little thing. Like my wife says, there's. Oh, never mind. Let me show you this one little thing real quick. Goodness gracious. Here we go. You guys see the highlighted portion on this? For those of you that are still on the call? Right?
Yes.
So this is the part of the contract that says specific treatments, specific repairs and treatments. And I was going through the contracts this morning, and this was one of our contracts. The seller will pay for major defects found upon inspections, if any. Home foundation, AC units, water heaters, plumbing, and roofing.
Can that be an amendment? I mean, can they opt out? Or does that, that's, since it's on the contract?
Yeah, I mean, it's already closing. It's already closing.
Oh,
And so the problem with this is, first off, it specifically says, don't use subject to, right? And if I was the buyer's agent and I put this in the contract, I would ask you to say, hey, Mac, that's not right. We can't do that. And if we're going to make changes to the contract, change that. If I'm the listing agent, you sent this to me, We're changing it. But the problem with this one, the agent had both sides.
Oh, no.
Gustavo, where's Gustavo?
It wasn't me, swear.
So, and I share that with you because that's not what we want to do. That line, it has to be specific repairs. And most of us on here know that. This individual never shows up for training, so I get that. We're gonna start having mandatory training in 2021. Hoorah.
God.